good afternoon or good morning. I guess it depends on what time you're watching the video. Lucky today in this episode to be joined by Dean Bozunovic, who is currently the #1 salesperson in his current network. And I've known Dean for quite some time. I've seen, well, from when he first started in real estate, essentially. So what we're going to talk about today is Dean's history, his background before real estate, then entering into real estate, a bit about his market, what his goals are for next year, and some key takeaways that he would advise for any agent, whether you're new or established, getting into the industry. So Dean, thank you for your time today, brother.
Thanks, Flinny.
So just a bit of a rundown. If you can give the viewers what your background was, I mean, I know, but they don't know,
Sure.
before real estate.
Okay, so by way of background, prior to real estate, I was actually in automotive for 20 plus years. So not directly in sales.
Yep.
So whilst one might think that I was in sales, I actually wasn't.
Yep.
Motor mechanic by trade and an engine reconditioner by trade. And
Yep.
then just worked my way up into management roles.
Got you.
Until I was essentially in senior management. And
Yeah.
then from there, got into real estate. So
Sure.
yeah.
And that was with BMW, yeah?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Prestige.
Yeah, got you. And what year did you when did you start in real estate?
2017.
2017. Okay, so I remember us having the meetings at Cigarvi's in Baronia.
Yep.
Okay, and at the moment 2017, we're now 2021, so we're talking 4 years, and as it currently stands, as the crow flies, #1 in his current network throughout Victoria. So, mate, what a bit about your market, average selling price, and I know your market's fairly interesting in a sense where you've got an average selling price, but then there's certainly an upper end of that particular marketplace, which I know you do a fair bit in that upper end.
Definitely.
But
Yep.
just give the viewers a bit of a rundown in where the market is, what
Yep.
market it is, and a bit about the stock, and then a bit about the properties that you sell.
Sure, okay. So I guess the great thing about our market is it has a wide breadth of properties. You have the apartments or the townies that start at about 400 grand.
Yep.
And then basically the high sale price probably sits at around $6 million.
Yeah.
And then everything in between. Now the 6 million is the standout, of course.
Yep.
But at the same time, average sort of, my personal average is about $1 million.
About $1 million, yep.
The suburbs average is about 880 to give you an idea.
Got you.
We've got heaps of mum and dad real estate, which is great.
Yeah, and when you that sort of top end sort of markets, Mount Eliza.
No, so yep, definitely.
Yep.
But Frankston South as
Frankston
well.
South,
so
yep.
Sort of Oliver's Hill specifically,
Yep.
or kind of beachside, and there's plenty of properties that are actually beachfront.
Yep.
But yeah, and then you're moving into Mount Eliza. As
Sure,
well, so,
got
yeah.
you. Yep. Okay, so so 2017. I want to get a bit of a paint a picture for your journey in real estate so far. So you started out as a salesperson straight away.
Yep.
Okay.
Straight away. Yep.
And for your first 12 months, what are some of the things that you thought were, were important for your development leading up to now, 4 years later, #1 in Victoria?
Yeah, great question. So I guess two key things for me starting out in real estate.
Yep.
Is my personal network.
Yep.
Was my best friend initially, and
Sure.
often they were my best friends in
Yep.
a lot of cases.
Yep.
But I basically called everyone that I knew.
Yep.
And basically touched base, said that I was in real estate, and said I'd love to, I'd love your help.
Yep.
And be able to help you.
Yep.
So yeah, that's essentially one of the major things that kind of really kickstarted my career in 2017.
Sure. Yep.
And then rewinding the clock back to my BMW days, did I ever think I'd ever knock on a door? No. But
Yep.
for me,
Yep.
door knocking in my first year was absolutely categorically one of the key things.
Yep. Okay.
So between my personal network
Yep.
and essentially door knocking,
Yep.
they're the two greatest things that really accelerated my career.
Do you still? So before this video started, Dean was saying to me, Flinny, aren't a lot of these videos going to be pretty consistent because, like all the good writers are going to be doing consistent things. And this is a case in point in regards to those two big takeaways that when I was saying before that each person has their own style, their own flair. So this is a really good example of that. So firstly, with the door knocking, do you still door knock now?
Yes.
Do you? Okay, and do you have it diarised in your calendar?
Yep.
Okay. Is it a daily event or 1 day per week? Weekly.
Yeah, for me it's weekly.
Yep.
And again, I'm very routine driven, which we'll probably get to.
Yep.
So my routine has definitely changed because this is now my 5th year in real estate.
Yep.
I've had 4 full years. This is now my 5th year.
Yep.
So over the course of the 5 years, it's changed considerably.
Yep. Okay.
So for me, door knocking appears at least twice a week.
Got you. Okay. And when you do go door knocking, do you? I'm assuming you door knock in your farm area or
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. But that said, around any listing and sale.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay. And how many properties are in your core area?
So I have 1,200.
1,200.
Okay. Yeah. When I say my core area, that's my farm area. My BDA is approximately 1,200 homes.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
And with regards to so that first 12 months, you did a heap of door knocking. And you contacted all of your personal contacts,
Yep.
And your community, so to speak,
Yep.
And just said, I've started in real estate. Can you help me? Yep. Okay. And with regards to, do you still once you've made that initial conversation with your community, do you now still continuously ask them for help and keep in contact with them in that space? So do you look at your community like your database as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, gotcha.
And, my current director, one thing that he did say to me was that, put everyone in anyone that that owns a property, put them in your database. And that's pretty much what I did.
Yep.
So I did an Excel spreadsheet initially. It was back before I went into real estate. The moment I got into real estate, I then put everyone into that database.
Yeah.
So they might be my best mate, but they're still getting the same, I guess, paraphernalia as a prospective vendor that I met 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So they're still getting all my monthly market wraps. They're doing all of that, and I still call them. The difference, in my first year, I asked them to help me.
Yeah, okay,
I've
got
dropped
you.
that line now because I think it's important. Don't be too ashamed to ask for help.
Yeah.
And they're the people that you know the most.
Yeah. And now you've got some street cred, so you don't have to ask for
something like that. Yeah, they
Gotcha.
ask me for help. It's different.
Dean is the perfect example of working with a new agent. Coming on board, because when we first started, we did training together as well, and all of the things that he heard, like for example, he was talking about his current director, he implemented, and it's although that seems bloody simple, it's rare to find because you can train, things to people and you can give people advice and so forth. But the implementation, which isn't that complicated, but for some reason, a lot don't do it. Dean implemented straight away, and that might be a character trait in regards to discipline, structure. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is, you have it. And it's number one in Victoria inside a 5-year window. So obviously it's proven that it works. With regards to your 2022, okay, so that's a brand new year, no lockdowns. How has your performance gone? I mean, you're number one in Victoria, but once again, to give the viewers, during lockdown, like how did that affect your business?
It improved it.
Okay, so so in what way? Yeah, how?
So one, I focused on a lot of things that I didn't have time to focus on prior.
Yeah.
Because during lockdown, we actually ultimately had a lot more time because we weren't in physical appointments, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So what I really worked on is a lot of my templates.
Yep.
A lot of my standard responses, all that kind of stuff. So I knew going back into, some form of normal life would be getting smashed.
Yeah.
So I just refined everything I did in terms of processes, systems, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, gotcha.
That said, how it then further improved my system is I actually had more time to prospect, and that
Yep.
was to call.
Yep.
So I was the guy that still got up at my
Yep.
normal time, treated it absolutely no differently.
Yeah.
I work with I have an assistant. He's awesome, Jake.
Yep.
And the two of us still had our daily directions at 9 o'clock. We did
Awesome.
nothing differently. And I said still had them at 9. Normally we'd have them earlier. But
Yep.
the difference was we just did it at 9. Because what we found with lockdown is people just got up that little bit later.
Yep.
So we just kind of just shifted
Yeah.
accordingly, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
gotcha.
yeah.
And in regards to, so you're obviously still listing and selling. We're doing listings via Zoom, or yep, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so I did a lot via Zoom.
Yep.
So I wasn't the guy that I guess broke the rules and got in front of people.
Yep.
There was plenty of them that did that, but I
Yep.
certainly just stuck to my Zooms.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I insisted on Zooms.
Yep.
Got the vendors to actually give me a walkthrough.
Yep.
And then I treat it absolutely no differently. So I just had my whole pitch
Yep.
saved electronically.
Yep.
And I do a share screen via
Yep.
Zoom and take them through the whole thing.
Tell me, now that lockdown has finished, do you still use that as opposed to going to do on-site appraisals?
Great question. So lockdown or COVID, whatever you want to call
Whatever.
it, has changed the way that we do business, and
100%.
it will forever.
Yeah.
So do I still use it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that prefers to get in front of people.
Yeah.
So you can't beat being across the lounge room table.
Yeah.
But when I need to, sure, I revert to Zoom for sure.
Yeah, okay, got you.
So that's one thing.
Yep.
When I do my vendor meetings, so I do weekly vendor meetings.
Yep.
So normally I'd actually do those in person.
Yep.
Now what COVID's taught me is that is just a complete waste. When I say waste of time, it's not a waste
It's
of
not
time.
necessary.
It's not necessary.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
So I now do it either via Zoom, whatever they prefer, because it's not seeing me for that extra time isn't overly important. Basically.
Yeah, got you. So by the sounds of things, in that space, COVID, the lockdown has, the byproduct of that is that you've learnt to use time more efficiently and technology. You really
More effectively. 100%.
Yeah.
So on that note, before I forget,
Yeah.
was even when it comes to negotiating,
Yeah.
I would always prefer to be in front of the buyer to
Yeah.
negotiate, because I always maintain you get more money.
Yeah.
But how I was then negotiating during lockdown was actually via Zoom.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'd actually say, look, can we just set up a Zoom meeting via Zoom?
Yeah.
And just go through it. So then I'd actually take their offer via Zoom.
Yeah, awesome. And these little things, I think a lot of COVID was shit and lockdowns were shit, but there's a lot of really good things that have come out of people having to pivot and adapt. And these are the really good things that, as you said, are going to be long lasting. They're going to change, or they have changed for the smart ones anyway, the way people do business, for forever. Your selling methods. So what primarily, are you private sale, auction, closing date sale? What's your majority of your sales? What method are they?
99% of the closing date.
Closing date, yep, okay. And with regards to when we talk about lockdown, what have you written in GCI? I know not financial year, calendar year,
Yep.
approximately. What have you written so far this year in GCI?
I'm sitting on 960,000.
960. So, and we've still got essentially 2 months, month and a half to go. Okay, and have you got goals for 2020, not financial year, calendar year? Yeah.
That's why I work.
Yeah, perfect. What are your goals for next year?
Haven't confirmed,
Okay, got you.
but obviously it will start with a 1.
A 1, yep.
So that's kind of where I'm at, because my theory is once you've hit it, because this will be basically my first year that I've hit, and I
Yep.
actually had a very clear target when I started real estate. I said that in my 5th year,
Yep.
I wanted to be $1 million agent.
Yeah, gotcha.
And that's exactly what I'm on track to write for
Yep.
this year.
Have you got the stock to nail it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good man.
I should have it covered.
Yeah,
So,
very
So
good.
yeah. But I'm very analytical as well, so I look at averages and all the rest of it, so I know where I should end up. But yeah, to answer the question about what 2022 looks like, haven't confirmed it, but it will definitely start with a 1.
Can I say it is far easier and it happens far quicker to get from 1 million to 2 million than 0 to 1 million.
I'm excited.
Yeah, because once you're at 1 million, you've got traction, you've got momentum, and there's just stuff happening. Because the key for you, I dare say, would they bring on that third assistant. Each person in the business unit should represent roughly 350 in GCI. So
sorry, say that again.
Roughly 350 in GCI. So at the moment, the fact you're writing 1 million, or just on 1 million, you're above what it should be. So each person, given that there's 2 team members, is representing roughly 500.
Oh, gotcha. So me and my assistant.
Correct.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, but between 1 million and 2 million, it happens a lot quicker because there's just a lot of stuff going on. So, yeah, you'll see. So, with regards to,
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, please do. Have you got any plans on taking on a third team member, or is that something you've discussed or thought about?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just torn which way to go with it now, because I break my assistants down, or when I say assistant, I've only got the 1.
Yeah.
But blue or red.
Yeah.
And the blue's the productive one, the red is the non-productive one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So at the moment, Jake is very productive. He's a productive assistant.
Yeah.
Whereas I now need the admin side of it.
Yeah.
So, that's probably where I'm now leaning towards. And it's just whether or not I go a physical assistant in office or I look at a VA. Yeah,
got you. Okay. And how long has Jake been with you?
Coming on 12 months.
Yeah, okay. And I think that depends. You're obviously organised, and different salespeople have different character traits. You're organised, and so a producer like Jake is somebody who fits you for that period of time. Where somebody who's a bit of a train wreck, but they can do heaps of deals, and they need that organised assistant.
Yeah.
So you sound like with Jake, you've got the right fit for your first assistant, and obviously the results, speak for themselves. Has Jake got plans to go into sales, or he's comfortable in his?
No, most definitely.
He does.
Yep. And they're part of the things that we'll now be having conversations around and going, okay, well, what are the plans moving forward for Jake now?
Yeah.
And where what's his 5-year plan?
Yeah, sure. That's exciting. So with regards to, and we'll get to takeaways in just a moment. Social media. Are you active on social media?
In summary, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I still push it out, and weekly posts, it's probably 2 or 3 a week.
Yep.
But it's not great, to be honest. So I'm not great at social. So,
got
and
you.
it's something that I probably should get better at. So.
Do you want to get better? I guess, and this is the interesting thing with these videos is that they once again, and you've just hit the nail on the head, but just the success trail or version can be very authentic to that person's particular self.
Yep.
So, some are just social. Others are like, I don't really do social. I'm still writing $1 million. When you say, is that something you are going to do, or is it something that you're mindful that you should be doing, or something that doesn't really interest you?
So I'm very mindful that I need to do it.
Yeah.
And does it interest me? I'm not that guy that loves being on social, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I really see the benefit of it. And for me, it's probably the cream on top.
Yeah, gotcha.
But at the same time, I'm not creative enough to actually write my own posts, come up with that creative stuff. So I'll basically outsource it.
Good idea.
And that's the stuff that we're now looking at doing. So I currently actually outsource.
Yep, okay.
But it's okay at best, if that makes sense. It's not fabulous. So,
okay. So for anybody the advice you would give anybody starting out for you, and this has worked for you, first 12 months, door knock, the buggery out of your core area. So really become an expert in that area, so everybody knows that you are the agent who's representing that area. All of your personal contacts, really leverage off them and make sure that every single person in your community knows that you are in real estate and you're wanting help, yep. Then from, and just on that, you mentioned before you had 5-year goals. Was one of it was to write $1 million, which you're about to hit. Was one of those, when you were looking at your 5-year plan, was there a year in there whereby you said, I want to have an assistant on at this time, or that just became because of necessity? You found somebody.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, I also learned early that without an assistant, you're not going to get to that bigger number quicker.
Yeah.
So my first year of real estate, I wrote 450 alone.
450. Yeah. What was second year?
540.
540.
So it was basically a switch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 years were sort of in betweens, and
Yep.
then this year, without a doubt, has been obviously my strongest year. So
Yeah. Okay. And Jake, did he have any previous real estate experience?
some, but not a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
So he actually came out of logistics.
Yep.
And then went into real estate. But I think was only there for a couple of months.
Yep.
Joined us.
Yep.
Interestingly, actually joined us as a standalone sales agent.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But then eventually came in under myself. So
Yeah. I think we're talking about that in the previous video. I think that's a good way for somebody
It's a great
to
way.
find themselves. Yeah, it's. I mean, you could always handle yourself very well, and you came from a corporate background, so you seem to hit the ground running. But for a lot of people, it's really good to learn and essentially plagiarize of somebody else, and then
100%.
then really understand what real estate is all about.
Yeah, definitely. So again, rewinding the clock, and if I had my time again, I probably wouldn't do anything different, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think any advice I would give anyone, if you don't feel that you're going to be able to make it out by yourself straight away as a sales agent, work under someone. So just suck it up, so to speak.
Yep.
And it depends on where they've come from, because obviously in a lot of cases it's a pay cut.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you can afford it,
Yeah.
and if you can just swallow your pride, so to speak, work under someone in whatever form.
Yep.
Work under $1 million agent and just learn.
And that's really good, because you're playing the long game. Yeah. So for that 12-month window, look at it like a university.
For sure.
Yeah. Get your degree.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
then go out and be a barrister.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, look. Thank you so much for your time today. So once again, recaps. Leverage off your community. Door knock your core area. If you are struggling, if you do get into the field and you're struggling, find an agent and ask to work alongside them. And with regard, by the sounds of things, structure is really important to you. The reason you've been successful during lockdown is that those prospecting sessions, for example, were still consistent throughout lockdown. So it didn't, although everything was in lockdown, you just kept soldiering forward. The way you did business and the way you still do business has changed, using technology for listing presentations and buyer negotiation. And even though we're out of lockdown, you're still doing that where necessary.
Yep.
So the byproduct of that is that you've learned to be much more time efficient and use technology much more effectively. Okay, well that's and in regards to social media, although you're not active on social media, mind you, still writing $1 million without being active on that, you've identified the need that you should probably be doing something, so you're outsourcing that, so that box, so to speak, has been ticked.
Yep.
Is there any other advice? I mean, there's some great points there. There's some really, I mean, somebody could base their career on what you've just said there, pretty much. Is there any other points that you think, would be important for not only new agents or established agents, for them to be able to implement into their business straight away that you can think of?
I think for me, like a big, in terms of implementation, but I'm a big one about asking for help.
Yeah.
So if you're not sure about something, don't be afraid to ask for help, because I think a lot of the time we don't, because we just we feel embarrassed or something.
Yeah.
But I still often pick up the phone, speak to people like yourself, and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, Flinny, what about this?"
Yeah.
Or I'll, bounce something off another agent.
Yeah.
That is super, super, super important.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's just on that as well. Even these videos are really cool because Dean is a top performer, and the people who are doing these videos, I'm not paying them to do the videos, but they're doing it. They're contributing
Aren't you?
to. Sorry, I didn't tell you, mate. But they're contributing to the industry as a whole. I think it's a really healthy perspective because Dean's just talking about if you need help, ask it, but also he right now is helping the viewers who are watching this in regards to things they can implement into their business. So it's a really healthy attitude, and I appreciate not only yourself but all the people who we're interviewing for contributing back to the industry that we all work in. So if you enjoyed that video, please follow or give a thumbs up, or if it's on the podcast, please leave a review. Dean, mate, congratulations.
Thank you.
#1 network.
Thanks,
on
mate.
track for $1 million with 6 weeks to go, and looking forward to seeing what you do next year. But you've done an amazing job, and you continue to grow from strength to strength. 5 years from a standing start to #1 in Victoria. Really well done, and really proud of you.
Thanks, mate.
So
Appreciate it.
congratulations,
Thank you.
and thank you all for watching. Cheers.